Welcome back to the Cutty and Govy Show. This is really a welcome back, Govy, because we're in our new podcast studio over here in Boca Raton. We left Podcast Junkies, our former studio. Evidently, the producer there said I made him cry. I don't think I made him cry, but I was upset because there were people coming in and out while we were doing our show. You can hear all the background noise, but our new podcast studio here, look at this. We have a private, soundproof room with the lights, and it can show our tans.
Well, Cutty, we waited. We had to wait for this to be built.
Right.
And it took like a little extra with all the stuff with all the restrictions and codes. So it actually went over like a month. But we're now here. What this offers us is it's getting hot in Florida. And it's when you were in a hot studio, it's uncomfortable. It's nice to know that this is classy, air-conditioned, private, professional staff. And that's what we deserve.
Right. Podcast Junkies has outages a lot. Their air conditioner isn't
always
a
little hot there, but it's okay. So it's we wish them luck, and we got a winner here.
We wish them luck. We're happy to be here. Thank you for welcoming us. It's great to be back and doing our podcast again. We have these nice, comfortable sofas. It's a more casual environment. I don't know where our camera is. Where are we looking?
I'm looking straight here, and you're looking straight there.
At that camera there.
Right, with that blue dot.
Okay, all right, I got it. So, Govy, a lot of stuff. We're here in mid-April, and Boca Raton people are starting to peel out of town. We're getting the car carriers, though the traffic's still pretty crazy here.
Well, they're living here all year round now.
I mean, I just had trouble getting a parking spot here.
They're here all year round. This is it. This is the new normal. I mean, would you want to live in New York?
No. I wouldn't want to be in the courthouse in New York like Donald Trump. I hear it's 60 degrees in there every day.
Yeah. Yeah, which brings us, by the way, we got to start. We could talk about a little of that, but I think let's just hit sports a little bit first.
Let's go with the Philadelphia 76ers in the playoffs. Big win last night.
Yeah, so let's attack the NBA. We got some great series going on. You got the Sixers, Knicks. I happen to be both a Knicks fan and a Sixers fan. The Sixers were robbed in Game 2. The NBA said that they blew, 4 or 5 calls in the last 30 seconds of a game.
And it's hard to believe. What is there? How many games in a season?
There's 80 games in a season.
80 games, and you make it all the way to the end, and they blow a call.
Not just one. They blew several. And, the integrity. When you hear LeBron James at 1 o'clock in the morning, I have half an eye up because that's the late game. When I hear him say, using the word the fucking refs or that's bullshit, I had to think, is this live or is he allowed to be? And they didn't beep it out. And that's because, the integrity of the game of people gambling now. You can't say I'm sorry. You can't have a guy travel for 80 games and for the referee when you have 3 referees and then it goes to that video center. So that means someone's looking at it. Someone's allowed. It would be like instant replay in the NFL if when you go for the replay and they still get it wrong. Like, that's your chance
it's hard to believe. I mean, if you're a degenerate gambler and you're betting your life savings or your weekly savings on a game and you lose your bet because of a bad call, I mean, it's horrific. I mean, as a spectator, it's terrible to sit there for 2 hours, 3 hours of your life that you're not going to get back. When
or
you lose
your investment that you went to, say, 40 home games or 20 home games, and then all of a sudden your team's out for some bad calls. But that being said, the Knicks and the Sixers, it's the first time they've met in over 35 years. It's a rivalry like no other because of how close they all are. Somewhere around Trenton, you either become a Knicks fan or you're a Sixers fan.
Well, you're conflicted.
I'm conflicted. My close friends are running the New York Knicks right now, and I do have to say that what they look to do is they find players that overachieve. So if you look at their roster, from Robinson, who was a second rounder, to Hartenstein, who was a second rounder, to Josh Hart was the last pick in the first round, to Jalen Brunson, who was a second round pick. all these guys have overachieved. DiVincenzo has overachieved. OG Anunoby has overachieved. All these guys, and then Wes Wesley, Worldwide Wes, and Leon Rose, they've overachieved as being management, which I can't say the same thing for the 76ers that have watched, Jimmy Butler leave, Ben Simmons, James Harden, getting the first pick in Foles. That was a mistake.
They have Joel Embiid, who's their main
He's
character.
at 35. He's at 35% putting up 50 points. If this guy was
all the time,
if he was ever 100, and he's playing with Bell's palsy, which is
does he have Bell's palsy?
Yeah, and he announced it yesterday. I saw his eye was. I didn't know that. I saw his eye.
A lot of people get that. It can be reversible.
Yeah, but you got to wear glasses. You got to take medication. I mean, you're not going out in front of the world with a droopy eye and cheek.
Right, endorsements aren't really. You're going to have to endorse sneakers,
and it's painful,
not stuff
and your eyes dry, and he needs drops. So he made the announcement yesterday. He wanted to keep it personal, but when everybody says, "Why is he wearing sunglasses after the game?" he let everybody know he's playing with a busted leg that he just had surgery, Bell's palsy. He's at 30%, 35%. He puts up 50 points on the New York Knicks.
Right. We can debate that. I don't want to spend the whole show
No.
about
So anyway, you got other series. You got the Denver Nuggets, Los Angeles Lakers. Denver's putting a spanking on LeBron. He's going out again in 4 games.
How old is he? He's like 39 years old.
39, but he's still going out. He's going to go out first round. You got Boston playing the Miami Heat. And
we love the Heat down here in Florida.
You got to love Spoelstra. He could be the best coach in basketball.
Love him.
What he's doing. You got Minnesota and Phoenix playing, and you got the guy Edwards, who could be the best player in the league besides Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid, when he's healthy, is the greatest player on earth right now.
How tall is Edwards?
Edwards is probably 6'7", somewhere like that. He is, without a doubt. If you asked me to build a team around, besides Joel Embiid and his health that's questionable, Edwards is the best player in the NBA. So, I mean, you got some great series going there.
So, let's have a prediction, Gavi. You did so well during football season.
I think the Sixers are going to win.
Sixers are going to beat the Knicks down 2-1?
I think they're going to win in 7 games.
All right.
But I'm very happy if the Knicks win because that's who I'm pulling for. I wear all my Knicks gear for all the games.
So it's Philly next game. So
Philly's next game on Sunday, and I think Philly's going to win that game. And it goes back to New York, and I think New York is going to win Game 5 in New York.
Got it.
And Denver's going to take out the Lakers. Boston's going to end up beating Miami. You're going to have Minnesota's going to beat Phoenix. The Clippers and Dallas, I think it'll probably end up being the Clippers, even though I want Dallas. And then we'll see where the second round. And then you got Milwaukee playing Indianapolis, and I like Indianapolis over Milwaukee because they don't have the Greek Freak playing. Baseball, they're looking good because you know what you have going for baseball? You got your best teams, Phillies, Mets, Yankees, Dodgers, Brewers, Atlanta. They're all starting off pretty good. Big markets. It's someone said, there was a writer for the Philadelphia Inquirer. And the Phillies were doing really good. Their pitching staff, they're going 8 innings, and
but they're go ahead.
But they're doing great, and it's all these money.
But the relief guys are terrible.
Yeah, right now they are. But the starters are going 8 innings,
right? And
all of a sudden Harper's hitting, this guy's hitting, and all the money that they spend on free agents is actually coming through.
Right.
So he starts quoting Gordon Gekko from Wall Street, and it starts off where greed is good. I mean, if you're the owner that's paying for this, it's like the world is good, greed is good. That's how it's supposed to happen. So when you have the Phillies, Mets, Yankees, Dodgers, Brewers, Atlanta, greed is good. They're spending the money.
What is the attendance of Philadelphia? It's probably 45,000 a game. Right?
Every game, it's a sellout.
They do well. Philly's a big fan crowd,
and they get their thing. And then just going into golf, we can make that really quickly.
Wow.
Scheffler. You don't have to talk about any other golfer than Scheffler because he's doing things that Tiger Woods was doing.
Well, it's interesting. The caddy on the tour gets 10% of the winnings of the golfer. So his caddy is the number 3 money winner on the tour this year. The caddy's made over $2 million, and it's only April.
And Scheffler is very religious. Very, very religious, and so's his caddy. And that's why his caddy left his other guy and came with him.
Right.
And together, they're like, I guess, going to church every Sunday because this caddy loves what he's doing right now.
Right. He won the Masters. He
won the tournament before the Masters.
He won the tournament before, and then he won the Masters, which was great.
And then he won the tournament after the Masters.
Then he won the tournament after the Masters. And he's a very low-key guy like you, Govy. You would never know he's
this
a
guy
superstar.
bought a house. He just bought a house. A $2 million house in Texas.
And he's worth, whatever, $100 million.
I mean, yeah, so that's what you need to know about golf is Scheffler. And then we could talk about this NFL draft. If you're an Eagles fan or you're from Philadelphia, boy, do the Dallas Cowboys suck. I mean, they did nothing in free agency. And then in the NFL draft yesterday, the Eagles, they needed a cornerback, and yesterday it was a record. The first 14 players taken in the draft were offensive players.
Right. Quarterback was number 1, right?
Quarterback was like 1, 2,
But the
3.
Heisman Trophy winner was what, number 2 or 3?
It was number 2. But
yeah.
But the Heisman Trophy the year before was number 1.
Yeah.
So you got 14 offensive players going. The Eagles needed a cornerback. They were thinking of trading up to like 10 to get him. He falls in their lap at 22. He's the first defensive back taken. So Mikael Parsons for the Cowboys is like, he just can't believe how lucky the Eagles are. We got Barkley. I mean, they did everything. The Dallas Cowboys are now...
Well, it's Jerry Jones.
Because he thinks owning a team...
Yeah, he's the general manager.
He's the general manager. Like, we've been saying this for a year now. So they better...
Well, you know what he says? He says, when I played football, I was an offensive lineman, and they're the smartest guys on the team. That's what he said. Yeah. That's his standard line.
The only thing Jerry Jones, he's going to be closer to winning, is that he got John Calipari to leave Kentucky to come, giving money. Him, Tyson, and Walmart put their money together and gave John Calipari $8.5 million to leave Kentucky to live in Arkansas. Which I have to ask you a question. Let's say you're worth, like John Calipari, you're worth $100 million.
Right.
And you look at your wife and you say, and let's say you're living in Boca Raton, Florida, or you're wherever you're at, and you say, I can make an extra $1 million.
How old is he?
John Calipari is probably 62 years old.
Because that's a big... So he figures he has 1 gig left. He's got 1 run left.
So how do you break the news to your wife and you say, for an extra $1 million a year, we got to pack the suitcase and the house up. We're moving to Fayetteville, Arkansas. By the way, our number 1 steakhouse, Outback, it's only a 30-minute drive.
Big fish in a small pond.
Could you live in...
He could be a gambler. He could have no money.
Could you live in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
I've never been to Fayetteville, Arkansas. I don't know anything about it, but,
A Razorback. You know what the Razorback is?
Look, when Andy Reid went to Kansas City, everybody said, how can you leave Philadelphia and go to Kansas City?
It's still an NFL team. It's an NFL team. This is
true.
Fayetteville, Arkansas. I mean, you might as well be in Altoona, Pennsylvania. I mean, like, you're worth all this money. I mean, how do you say to your wife, by the way,
maybe he's looking for a slower pace. Maybe he's looking to scale it down.
By the way, when you're in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and you want DoorDash to come to your house,
right?
It's the same driver that takes you to the airport. He works for Uber, DoorDash, Uber Eats. It's one guy that does everything. It's like, the UPS driver does the entire town. It's not like multiple trucks.
That's funny.
So, I mean, it's so you got that. And then hockey, the Bruins are going to win it all, and then who cares about the rest of the thing? That's my.
You don't like
sports.
the Panthers. You don't like.
Panthers are good, but they're going to lose to the Bruins. The Bruins took them lightly. The Bruins are going to win the whole thing this year.
Boy, how many years has it been since the Bruins won? I mean, Bobby.
A couple years ago. No, they won a couple years ago.
Remember back in the day? Remember those players?
Well, that's the Flyers.
Yeah.
1973-74.
Right. Bobby Orr.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Phil
whole group?
Esposito.
Phil Esposito. Boy, he was fast.
But fighting is good. The Rangers, by the way, the New York Rangers have a 6'8" guy. He's probably 7'4" on skates. All the guy does is fight. And you know what? It's great for hockey.
Right.
I love
like
seeing
Dave Schultz from the Flyers.
He just looks at the guy and says, we're going to be fighting in about 4 minutes. So
the fans go to watch the game.
Oh, they love it.
I like when the helmets come right off. I mean, back in the day when we were kids,
helmets.
They didn't have helmets, and the fighting was, you saw blood. It was bust the guy's eye.
I would be giving like a lesson on like how to pull a sweater over a guy's head. There's a lot of stuff that how to tricks of fighting. You can't just go out there and fight. That doesn't, especially when you're on skates. So that brings us to.
Let's talk about this campus stuff.
Okay.
Because it's driving me crazy. All this stuff at Columbia, these presidents that talk from these colleges. Number one, I mean, these Palestinian, Hamas, whatever you want to call them, that are on campuses burning American flags and they're wearing masks. I have a problem with that. You want to be a tough guy? Take your mask off. Why are you hiding behind a mask? You're going to burn an American flag. You're living in the best country in the world, and you're burning our flag, and you're wearing a mask? No good. I don't understand why the governors are not stepping in and just taking these guys out, locking them all up, and restoring peace.
I'm going to tell you why.
Why?
Remember when there was the march and the people went in Charlottesville and Joe Biden that's the one reason why he said he ran, because there were they were saying, kill the Jews, whatever. They were like KKK guys. What were there, 30 people marching, and he went ballistic. Well, now this is on every campus. But it came out like today or yesterday that George Soros is funding them. So now you got George Soros.
How old's that guy?
Well, it's his son now.
Oh.
So, and by the way, his son, do you know who his son is dating?
He dates Clinton's...
Abedin.
Yeah.
Uma
she was married to the...
Wiener.
Yeah, Wiener.
The Duger or whatever, Dagger or whatever.
The guy that made the phone calls.
Yeah, that's a sex pervert.
Right.
So meanwhile, and she's like 15 years older than him. So you got the largest giver to the Democrats party, besides the guy that from the crypto guy, Friedman, it's Soros. So Friedman's in jail, and now you got Soros, who's giving money to all these. By the way, that's why they all have the same color tents, because he's funding them. So he's funding them. So now Biden has to sit there. Why he's so quiet and he ate his whistle is because how does he say anything? He's getting so much money. Clinton's getting money. Pelosi's getting money. The guy, Krasner, from all the district attorneys, Bragg, Krasner,
But
Gascon.
why is he trying to destroy America? What's his end game?
I don't know. Why doesn't 60 Minutes come up with why is he destroying America?
Why is he destroying America? I mean, on the way over here, I heard on the radio that half of the 50 colleges that they designated as large colleges have these protests.
Right.
And I don't even understand it. Why?
These students don't understand. They're taking their money. They don't even know what's going on. Matter of fact, you have women that are like gay women for Hamas. They have no idea that they would be killed instantly. But here's the big thing. Why doesn't Joe Biden pick up the phone and say to Soros, you're funding these on campus. It's burning down here. So it's like that's why he hasn't said anything.
Well, I think the sad part about it is for these kids, they worked hard for 4 years. They just canceled commencement exercises, and that's a great day. You're graduating from college. You have frat parties. Shout out to the frat boys, by the way.
Yes.
We're back, guys. We're back. And you have commencements all canceled.
Cuddy Jr., Caitlin Clark. That's all I have to say. But
all the commencement exercise. How would you like to be on financial aid? You're going to have to pay these loans back. You're not allowed to go to classes for your senior year. You can't squeeze in one or two more girlfriends by the end of the year because you're not going to see anybody. You can't go to commencement because these idiots are over there protesting, disturbing campus.
I'll tell you where they're better off. The students that are at these colleges for a brief time right now. I would rather be a senior that's ready to graduate and be done with these Ivy League schools than the kid in 12th grade that worked his butt off all through high school, middle school, high school, and gets accepted to Columbia, and he's starting in the fall. I mean, I would have doubts.
Well, you don't think if Donald Trump's president, this is going to end?
Let's put it this way.
I don't think he's going to put up with this bullshit.
The damage is done to Columbia, to these Ivy League schools. You're going to see Wall Street not hiring these guys.
I like that.
They're not going to hire these guys. So they're going to say, where are you from? Columbia. Boom. I want Emory. I want University of Washington in St. Louis. I want Tulane. I'll take University of Miami. I'll take schools that I don't have to sit there and see. Columbia.
But it's starting to bleed through to every school now. I just heard something on the radio about Emory.
Well, you got George Soros who's funding this.
Yeah.
So the problem, but the problem is once they see this summer that they don't get to become a lawyer at a law firm, or Bill Ackman says, I'm not hiring you for Pershing Capital, all of a sudden they'll start sitting there saying, hey, wait a second. You mean the kid from that goes to Emory or University of Washington, St. Louis is much better than Yale? Yeah.
But explain to me why these college presidents, like the one that was just on TV for Columbia, why are they so ignorant? They're supposed to be so smart. They're getting paid $5 million a year. Why don't they know the right words to say? I mean, anybody can bullshit anybody and say the right words. Why aren't they saying the right words?
Because maybe for the last 10 years, the biggest money givers was maybe...
they're going to lose their job. Screw the money givers.
They didn't think it was coming. They wanted to play both sides. So if they were getting their money from Qatar, they were going to basically, they were taking this money. Or if they were getting some...
But Gavi, if somebody says to you, you're going in front of Congress... If you don't condemn what's going on, you're going to lose your job. Aren't you going to try and save your ass and save your job and condemn it and do the right thing? Why are you going to keep your mouth shut and allow this to continue to fester and be a bad stain on it?
Because they're not as bright. They're not as bright as you thought they were, and that's what the exposure is. All these kids, because they went there, they're not as bright. Obviously, you look at these schools and you're sitting there saying, I don't think they're that bright. It's funny. Why did it take Bud Light to hire the girl from Harvard University to say, wait, I got an idea. I can change our whole marketing thing and I can make us better. But if I'm wrong, I could cost us billions. I mean, why did they hire her? She's a young kid that knew. What was her experience?
I think we should send them all from the CuttyandGovy Show, the Dale Carnegie book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And, maybe these presidents should read this book. And the book essentially says, play to your audience. I mean, don't be a fool here.
Well, let's put it this way. When the presidents went in front of Congress the first time, and it was... I believe it was Harvard, it was Penn.
There's the Cliff Notes.
And it was Penn... And it was one other university, and
Yale maybe or Princeton.
No, it wasn't. It was another school. Maybe it might have been MIT or
MIT.
It might have been Penn was there, and so was Harvard. But Columbia,
your alma mater,
yeah, and Columbia didn't go because she said she had a prior arrangement. So why she is the dumbest of all is she went from being a genius by not showing up there.
Right.
She watched everybody else resign.
Cliff Notes.
She watched everybody else resign, and then she shows up in front of Congress. And again, she wasn't prepared. And the first thing as soon as she walked out of there, they said, you need to step down. So again, Cliff Notes you're talking about, she didn't learn anything.
Well, she did, because she read the book everybody else wrote, How to Get Lifetime Pay by Getting Fired. So the Harvard lady has tenure. She's getting $800,000 a year for the rest of her life. The U of P lady's getting paid for the rest of her life. So maybe this Columbia girl said, you know what, I get paid the rest of my life, fire me.
I think they thought they were untouchable, that they had people that were going to protect them. And
do you think before they go in there's like a 5-hour with lawyers session at a conference?
No, I don't think they just walked in there and said, wish me luck, guys. I'm going in front of Congress. Wish me luck. I hope whatever comes to my mind, I'm going to speak. No, I think they were... they were going to do that. And, it's funny, when everybody's saying Joe Biden, should he get in front of the country and speak right now? Should he say something? One reason why he can't, besides George Soros, is because he can't. Because he can't read a teleprompter. His last teleprompter he read, he said, 4 more years, pause. Like
he read the word pause.
He read the word pause.
He's
Ron Burgundy from Anchorman.
Well, that's why he always has an ice cream cone, because he can't blame the mumbling on anything because he has the ice cream cone.
Well, he was waiting to usually take his questions when the Marine One is behind him, and you can't hear anything anyway.
Well, now there's a new thing where he has people walking around him. Out to Marine One?
I saw that. I mean, by the way, and they want us to have this guy for 4 more years. And if he doesn't make it, you get Kamala Harris. I don't know where she's at. I mean, did you see her schedule that they released? She goes home every Friday. She takes Air Force 2, and she spends her time in Los Angeles or California.
Can you imagine, folks, to Earth? I don't even know how many viewers, we lost track, but she gets on Air Force One, which is a jumbo jet, and flies to Air Force Two, and flies to California every weekend.
Right.
How much does that cost us?
And her schedule, by the way, her DEI hire, who's there to protect her, the Secret Service, she went off into the loony bin yesterday. She not only was throwing tampons at other workers, when her supervisor came, her commanding officer, she started punching him and rolling on the ground with him. She was disciplined twice when she was working in the Dallas Police Department. This is who they hired to protect the Vice President of the United States. They're getting into a fight with fellow Secret Service people because she was deleting apps on his telephone.
Well, she has a very toxic work environment. Everybody quits working for her. Maybe,
But meanwhile, she could be president of the United States.
Right.
So let's lose track. Let's keep, if you vote, I don't understand if you're a Jew, by the way, how you could vote for Joe Biden right now or any Democrat voting for this party, because it's bizarre. John Fetterman, he's a winner. Take my hat off to John Fetterman. Stay loyal to who you are, I guess. I was wrong. You're doing the right thing. You're at least, no matter what, you're staying loyal to yourself.
Fog a little,
but he's staying true to himself.
Yeah.
If you're for him or against him, there's a lot of things I'm still not for. But at least I now know he's true to himself, rather than just saying things. So Joe Biden, he can't read from a teleprompter. How can he take a question? How can he get up there and get in front of the country, talk for 40 minutes, and then say, okay, I'm going to take questions from CNN, Fox News, Washington Post, USA Today, MSN. He needs to know what it is. This debate that he went on Howard Stern today and said, I'm going to debate this guy.
Now, was that a scripted show? I mean,
it's all scripted with
softballs.
Yeah, it's all scripted. If you want him on your show, which shows you that Howard Stern is a sellout. I loved him, but you know what?
But he's a Jew. Why is he?
He's a sellout. Yeah. And you know what? He's changed over the years. This was a guy, by the way, that when he came to Philadelphia, the #1 disc jockey in Philadelphia was John DeBella.
Right.
And he made John DeBella kiss his ring. Not only kiss his ring, he made John DeBella's wife be part of Dial-A-Date back in the thing.
Right.
She committed suicide.
I remember that.
She committed suicide, and Howard Stern was a lot of the cause of why she committed suicide. So here's this rebel who's now kissing the butt of Joe Biden with a script, reading a script that what he's allowed, that's not true to who he is. Guy nervous of COVID.
Just look at this Trump trial in New York. First of all, they make the guy, today is Melania, his wife's birthday.
Right.
He's not allowed to be with her on his birthday, on her birthday. His son's graduation, he's not allowed to go to his son's graduation. It's just unconscionable. He has to be there every day and sit through this testimony for 6 weeks.
After week 1, we still don't know what he did wrong. I mean, Have you ever heard of the jury's just sitting there saying, just tell me when I can vote guilty. Just tell me when I can say guilty, because we're just wasting time here because it's been a week already. Am I right?
Well, they had David Pecker. I love that last name. David Pecker. Right. Pecker, he does all the tabloid stuff.
He bombed.
He
was great for Trump.
Yeah, he was great for Trump. Then he had his longtime loyal personal assistant. And all she did was show his Rolodex that he had Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal's phone number in his Rolodex. That's all she did today, other than say he was a great boss.
Did she put them under extortionists? Were they like, I mean, because basically, if I was in the jury, I would sit there and say, oh, they're the two extortionists, right?
She was in and out in an hour.
Right.
And now they have Michael Cohen's banker that came on and said he was just a mean guy, screamed at me all the time. I mean, I don't know what this guy Bragg is doing.
I told you, the jury just wants to say, where do I sign guilty? And let's move on with this thing. I mean, it's bizarre, this whole case. It's embarrassing.
But what's your take? Why do they have the room at 55 degrees? To keep the jurors up? So they don't fall asleep?
Yeah, keep it, maybe make it a little uncomfortable.
What's the judge wearing, long underwear
No,
or
he could have a
something?
heater under his desk. You have no idea.
He's prepared for it.
But, the thing that you have to ask yourself is, the number 3 guy in the Department of Justice, under Garland, who worked for Joe Biden, basically, in the White House, he resigns that job of the United States Department of Justice and takes a job to be an assistant attorney general for New York. And lo and behold, he's the guy who's handling this case rather than Bragg.
So crooked.
Rather than Bragg. So because they know Bragg can't do anything. So they took this guy because he's a good guy handling it. If that isn't collusion of Joe Biden in the White House and Garland, I mean, it's unbelievable.
But I don't understand. It seems like every time Trump talks, he's smashing the judge. He says it's freezing.
That's the only person he's allowed to smash. Is the
he's
judge.
allowed to do that.
He's
under
allowed
his
to
gag
smash
order?
the judge, but he's not allowed to talk about the judge's daughter who's against him. He can't talk about
So
Keller.
he has rules of engagement.
Only the judge.
Right. He's allowed to say this judge is the most corrupt judge.
Yeah,
he's compromised. He's allowed to say that.
And he is. He's saying.
Oh, yeah, every day he comes out. It's freezing in there. That's the first thing he says.
actually think right now, after doing this, I actually think he's baiting them to throw him in jail.
Boy, that would be horrible.
You want to know something? People would start looking like. And by the way, he's getting a lot of intervotes that people don't realize the ground effect of Trump shaking hands with everybody in New York. He's going to have a thing at Madison Square Garden, a fundraiser.
Boy, I'm going to that.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
How much do you think that'll cost, Gavi?
Not that much.
Yes.
20,000 people.
Right. Talking about that, who do you think's going to win that Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight? That's going to be in Dallas Stadium. 80,000. How are you going to see the fight from, the nosebleed seats?
They have a
Teletron or whatever.
It's huge. I think Paul, the younger guy.
Really? You think he's going to beat Mike Tyson?
Yeah, Mike Tyson always said, when you get punched in the face, you think differently.
Yeah.
But I truly believe this guy's younger. He can take a punch. I mean, the guy was also a fighter, so he could take a punch. And I don't think Mike Tyson, when you see him train and you see him going great, like for 3 minutes, and you sit there and say, wow, this guy's really good. 3 minutes is a lot. You're a lot different at the 12-minute mark.
Well, try and hold your hands up like this for 3 minutes. It hurts.
Right.
If you just do this for 3 minutes.
Right. So I'm sitting there saying, like, you know what? At the 12-minute mark, Mike Tyson is going to be breathing pretty heavy.
Yeah, he's got to knock him out in the first round.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I think. But it's...
But Gavi predicted on our show at our old bad podcast studio, he predicted Donald Trump will run the table on his 91 counts against him. Looks like Atlanta's dead. Fannie Willis got her fanny in the wrong spot. Looks like Jack, whatever his face is, this document case with the immunity claim yesterday in front of the Supreme Court. Looks like that's a goner. This criminal trial's happening right now. And he already posted his $175 million bond for the other thing. So that deal's done. I mean, it's on appeal. He'll get it knocked down to $20 million. He'll pay it.
Let's put it this way.
By the way, True Social went up again today.
I know.
He's worth like $6 billion more
I know.
now.
It's unbelievable. Let's put it this way. The Make America Great Again hat, when he first came out with it in 2016, that's all it said was Make America Great in a nice red hat. Then, if you wanted to wait a little bit, you could get the Make America Great Again Part 2, which had number 45 on the side. And that way you know that he was the 45th president, and that's a great hat to have that says 45. I want you to know, not only do I have a Make America Great hat, I have a Make America Great hat with 45 on it, but I am so confident that he's going to win that I went into the Trump Pro Shop and I bought the hat that says 45 and 47. So my hat says 45 and 47 because I'm calling it before it actually happens.
Did he sign it for you? Was he there?
Not yet. I'm gonna have to. I have to get him to sign it. But
well, he's in town this weekend. I'll see him. He flew here for Melania's birthday, right from court.
Yeah, just
we can go see him tomorrow if you want.
Yeah, I mean,
he'll be holding court up there.
I mean, look, not only did I say he was going to run the table, the only thing I didn't see that he exceeded what I thought. I didn't think he was going to be club champion of his golf course.
By the way, I have to tell you, legitimately, he played club championship. He shot a 67. 67.
Right.
That's unbelievable.
For a guy 77 years old.
77 playing from the Blue Tees, which is a 6,600-yard course. It's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, look, it is his golf course, and he knows it as well as I. It doesn't make a difference.
I mean, you know, and he can't cheat. If he hits it in the water, he hits it in the water. I mean, you can't fish a ball out of the water.
Do you think?
I didn't hit it in there.
Do you think if Joe Biden took a driver out and he swung, is it 50-50 he falls down?
Well, it depends if he has his moon shoes on. You know, now
he needs spikes that go so far, 9-inch spikes that go into the ground.
Right, he has moon shoes now. You know, when he walks out to the helicopter in Air Force One.
So you know who's been quiet lately with all this Trump stuff? Hunter Biden. That's
coming up, right?
That's coming up in a couple of weeks. We're going to get to see how that is.
Yeah, well, you know, according to all our reels, where we're killing it on all these reels, nobody cares about Hunter Biden anymore.
You know who I would like to see at his trial?
Who?
I would like the prosecutors to bring out Pecker again, and this time Pecker is on the other side, and he could say, "These are all
I buried the stories.
These are all the stories I have on Hunter. Here's the pictures. Here's Hunter naked with doing blow with this girl, that girl. I mean, you don't think the National Enquirer has pictures on Hunter Biden?
Oh my God! Well, they were running a lot of articles on him. They probably have tons of stuff on him, and I'm sure it was all buried. Yeah, that's a great idea. They should bring Pecker out.
Now, want me to tell you a way that Donald Trump could be making money for the next 6 weeks? Here's another idea I have.
Go ahead.
I think Donald Trump...
Well, he did have that $50 million fundraiser.
Yeah, but
I heard you gave 30.
I got something great. I got something great for him, though. This is what I would be doing. Every day of this trial, every single day, I start off the trial, and he has to just sit there, you know, and it's cold in there. I would take a pen and paper, and I would doodle, and I would sketch a piece of art, like I'm drawing something.
And
like
sell
George
it.
Place. Just like Hunter Biden was able to do his little thing. And every day, Donald Trump should make a piece of art, like I would be drawing the judge, and then sign it Donald Trump and the date, and put it up on my website if you want to buy a Donald Trump original.
Great idea.
Thing. You don't think people would spend... Look, they're spending crazy money for Hunter Biden. You don't think people would spend $25,000 for an original Donald Trump drawing from trial of the judge, of witnesses?
Or he could have like a giant trash can out in front of the courthouse and have people throw checks of money in there.
But I just think... he could do a fundraiser.
Legal fund.
But he could have a bidding thing, which one it is, to raise money. Each day, he should be drawing a piece of art and say, "Hey, Hunter, you got nothing on me. I can do anything I want, and I can put down number 45, soon to be 47."
Boy, I saw his attorney, that Alina Habba, on TV. Boy,
Cute.
she can talk. She's unbelievable.
And she's cute.
Yeah. But I mean, she can really roll. I wonder where she went to college.
I don't know. I got to give that idea to somebody. He should be.
That's a great idea.
He should be doodling and making a drawing.
I can tell him this weekend if you want me to tell him.
Yeah, he should be selling it. It would be unbelievable.
All right.
Everybody would want one of those things.
No, I would.
Would you put one on their wall?
Yeah.
If he drew it and signed it, would you put it on your wall?
Not only that, he could draw it and sign it. They could run off 1,000 copies,
Right.
and he could sign all them and sell them too,
Absolutely.
as like seconds or whatever
Right.
it's called, where it's not an original.
Right. And get one of his friends with the. And by the way, sell them at Trump Tower, sell them at all the golf courses, websites.
Yeah, you're a marketing genius. You're a problem solver, Govy.
I'm telling you, that's how we could do it. It's good to be back in the studio,
Oh,
though.
man.
And it's cool. Like I said, it is cool and comfortable in here.
This is
because it's getting
beautiful.
hot outside in
Curious
Florida.
to see how it all looks. I mean, it looks great. We have a plant here. Do you think it's a live plant? Or
Yeah.
plant? Yeah, we have a live plant. We have a sofa.
And we'll be back next week.
We'll be back. We're going to sign up for this spot.
I might have to do. I might have to be if the Knicks win. I'll be traveling maybe with the New York Knicks on their next destination. So I would like to. I would love to see a New York Knicks Denver Nuggets final.
But you really can go for the Knicks over the Sixers. I mean, you're born
You know
and
what?
raised in Philly.
I'm
You're a
born and
Philly-
raised in Philly, but you know what? It would pain me a little bit, but the New York Knicks are a very likable team. They're good guys. They're likable. There's nothing wrong with liking overachievers.
Right.
Tobias
They're the
Harris.
underdogs.
Just so you know one thing about Tobias Harris, I'll leave on this comment with him as far as basketball goes. He's the only. He has made more money than any NBA player in the history of the NBA that has never made an All-Star game.
So he makes like $38 million a year. It's
Yeah,
insane.
$38 million.
And he just runs up and down the court.
So what's that? $485,000 a game?
What's the average in terms of points per game?
Well, in the playoffs, 6.
I thought it was something
There
like 14.
was a comment in the paper. They have a face of him with the caption underneath saying, "I'm tired of carrying this team
That is funny.
by myself."
He is absolutely the worst. But I mean, that was the bad signing, and
And one other thing that we have to mention, we have to
that was Elton Brand, wasn't it? That
Yeah.
was Elton Brand's hire.
Yeah, we have to say one thing. We have American hostages and Israeli hostages. It's going on like 7 months right now.
Think they're alive?
Some might be alive, but I mean, if it was any other group, honestly, if they were African American, if they were Asian, if they were Hispanic, where's Joe Biden saying anything? Just demand it. And yet he just gave money to Gaza.
I saw today Sheryl Sandberg. She used to be Facebook. She just did a documentary on the women that were hostages.
It's a must-see.
That were raped. I have it right here. Let my phone pop up because I shut it off before I walked in here. But is it on? Going to be on YouTube, I think, or I think it's on YouTube right now. And
it's going to be tough to watch though, because it's like the real deal. Where
she was crying when she was describing it.
Well, they're showing you the violence.
Yeah, the violence. They're showing these poor women after they get raped, and
even during they cut the feet off during it.
Yeah, terrible. They
and
show
yet
the
people
death.
protesting that says it never happened.
Southern what's it say? Screams before silence.
Right. Screams before silence.
Sheryl Sandberg. She did this documentary. I'm going to watch it tonight. It's supposed to be unbelievable.
I'm going to watch it tonight also.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it tonight. Well, folks, we did our show in our new studio. Govy, it's great to see you.
You too?
Talk to you every day. I don't get much FaceTime with you, but I mean, it's nice to be out here. And hopefully this will be a great spot for us to continue our growth and, see what we can do. My book is coming out in July. I have my cover. Maybe I'll get it next show. We'll have the cover go on here. Maybe I can pull it
I'm telling
up
you,
here.
it's going to be a New York Times bestseller, your book.
Well, I have to sell 5,000.
And the title is unbelievable, and the book cover looks great.
Yeah, if you buy 5,000 of them, I'll be a New York Times bestseller.
I'll make it happen.
Can you make that happen?
Yeah.
Give it out with every watch. Govy sells a watch every 7 minutes. So get it out with every watch.
Did I just solve Donald Trump a fundraiser? Why he's sitting there? He could be making money by just doing art.
Here's the cover.
Wow, does that look great?
It's called Left Foot, Right Foot, Survival Guide for Business and Life. And it'll be out in July. We're going to do some book signings. Hopefully by then we'll have the Cutty and Govy private jet. We'll fly around the country.
Do a little book signing. That would be great.
We'll do some book signings, and we'll, we're both sober now, so we can find our way to a bookstore.
I can put that on my shelf.
Yeah.
So,
all right, Govy. Well, it's great to see you.
Yep.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. It's been a great show.
And we'll see you next week.
Thank you.